Alright.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Hang on. Just trust me. Just trust me.
Okay. I don't know what he's writing, everyone.
Ding dong. You can't even fucking read it. God damn it.
What on earth?
It's the Marvel timeline.
Oh,
Because there's not a lot to talk about today, and I was working on it recently, so I figured why the fuck not. Can you not see? Oh, there's my head. You can't read it because the damn marker's faded. So...
Yeah,
this is my note board that you're not going to be able to see, but just trust me.
So, before we get into that...
Yes.
Because that's going to take up most of the podcast. First off, this is pre-recorded if you couldn't tell.
Oh, really? I couldn't tell.
Because...
I was unaware.
Our normal schedule and time, I have to go back to campus, so...
Like yesterday, right? Well, not yesterday.
Today, technically.
Eventually. Well, it's not going to come out live.
Well, no, I know. It's not going to
come
out live. It's going to come out Saturday, though, which is during our normal time.
I'm using Zwei to clean the board, by the way.
Oh, no, Zwei!
Not very efficient.
Poor Zwei. He
a little efficient. He was poorly designed.
He doesn't deserve that. But anyways, so...
He doesn't deserve to be made.
The other things that we have to talk about is...
Yes.
So Disney has finally come out stating that we are definitely getting a remake of the Percy Jackson series, so it actually makes fucking sense!
Who's Percy gonna be? Tom Holland?
No, I have no clue who's playing Percy. I am hoping, though, considering, it's kind of like Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. Percy's 12 at the start of the book.
So he's not played by a fucking 28-year-old.
Yeah, he should be played by at least... If you don't want to deal with child actors, at least like a 16-year-old or something.
Correct.
Not someone in their 20s.
Right.
So there's that. I have one anime thing. So this is a teaser came out for a new anime that's coming out this year.
And you've told me nothing about this.
I've told him nothing about it because I wanted to catch his genuine reaction to the name of the anime.
Okay. Oh, is it a long one?
My stepmom's daughter is my ex.
Okay. My stepmom's daughter is my ex. Okay. They're not related.
No. They're step-siblings now, but he used to date her.
So okay. So now they're step-siblings.
Yeah.
Okay. The what are you doing step-bro jokes are going to skyrocket with this anime.
Oh, yeah. Completely.
Fucking hell. Just... Are there any stars that I would know in this anime, or has it just been announced?
They've only released a teaser yet, so nothing so far.
Sounds like nothing.
There has been confirmation that the studio we just did this Ghibli museum is going to be.
Yes. You say Ghibli, I say Ghibli.
I say because I've been pronouncing it like that since I was like 3.
Which is weird because you say GIF.
Yeah.
And I say GIF. Don't comment on it. That's just how I fucking say it. Like, I'm not commenting on this idiot incorrectly saying Ghibli.
Well, I literally say Ghibli because when I first learned it and watched it, because I grew up with the movies, I was in Germany, so G's sound different.
Oof.
Oh, it's just a language thing.
Alright. I guess.
But, no, so there's that. The amusement park is being made, finally. And I'm just like, that's going to be amazing.
Cool.
Also, the life-size Gundam that was apparently supposed to be taken down is still standing in Japan, and they're leaving it for another year.
Okay.
Yeah, Japan has a fucking Gundam. At this point, the fact that they have made life-size Gundams just makes my brain go, they're going to be the first country to make, actual workable, pilotable life-size mechs.
If they try to take over again, we'll just drop a sun on them the third time. You know?
I'm not saying to use them for military anything, it's just...
I'm not either. I'm definitely not saying to do that.
No, Gundam is just a very big thing in
War is
Japan.
bad. I think we can all agree on that. War is bad.
War is bad. War is just a
I guarantee
contest.
I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just say?
Every time I've seen war, and I've even looked at it through, like, historical lenses and a political lens, they're literally just pissing contests of the leaders.
Oh, I thought you said pussy contest.
No, they're pissing
I was like,
contests.
what?
War is just a fucking pissing contest.
A pussy contest is
and
the
dick measuring contest.
The E3 Overwatch League Championship. Don't get me wrong, that's a pussy contest. E3 Overwatch League Championship, don't yell at me, I'm trying to be funny.
But no, literally, everything else is, like, war...
It's a dick measuring contest.
It's just a dick measuring contest, it really is, and it's just sad.
For war to happen, someone just has to, in general, stick their nose where it doesn't belong.
Basically.
Right, because it's like, hey... I'm not minding my own business. What are you doing? I'm doing something that we believe is the way we should do it, and it's not going to affect you in any way whatsoever. We don't do it that way. War.
Basically.
Right.
But yeah, no, so, well, I don't see them ever actually making Gundams for a military standpoint or anything like that. Because hell, the fact that they've made 2. This is the second life-size Gundam they've made. They've made 2.
What?
Yeah, Japan has 2 life-size Gundams.
Okay.
They are not pilotable. There is no cockpit, but
Life-size.
they are life-size.
So how tall is that?
One of them is 30 meters tall, I think.
How tall are the life-size Gundam?
You're gonna probably have to convert it to American.
65.5 feet.
There we go.
65.6 feet. 20 meters. That's life-size?
Yeah.
I was expecting them to be a lot bigger, but then again, I guess the anime would have to make them look even bigger.
It depends, because they have the 2 that they have made. They have the original from the first Gundam series, and then they have Unicorn, which I think is
Unicron. Unicron.
It's Unicorn.
This one spells it Unicron.
It's pronounced Unicorn.
Well, okay.
Because it's from the Gundam Unicorn anime.
Alright, so I'll start calling him Corm in Smash instead of Chrome. Crom. Whatever.
Alright, whatever. But, yeah, no.
Chromeo.
So if Japan were ever to make, like, mechs that were pilotable, which they'll probably be the first country to do so at this point.
Possibly.
They're not going to be for. They're not going to be for war. They're literally just going to be, wow, we actually did this.
Yeah, they show. Someone's going to steal it and show up to a convention like, I made this, and there's going to be police on their tail like, give it back.
Basically.
Yeah. All right.
Can't say anything. I'm a complete Gundam nerd and have made.
Yes. Speaking of Neil Young.
The fuck you.
Correct. Speaking of Neil Young, apparently. Because of something Joe Rogan said on his podcast, like, oh, anti-vaccine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Neil Young said, hey, can we, like, not have old white men on Spotify, on this platform Spotify, because, you know, spreading misinformation and saying all this dumb shit. And he basically said, Spotify, it's him or me. And Spotify went, man, I really hope Neil stays because we can't really get rid of Joe Rogan. And then Neil took all his music off Spotify. So that's a thing. Apple apparently is like, hey, we have Neil Young. We're better than Spotify. And Spotify's just like, what do we do?
I mean, I don't blame him for the fact that, again, the spread of misinformation is bad.
Very bad.
It again.
We are in an age where literally anything can be taken out of context.
Yeah.
Like not even purposefully. Things can be accidentally misunderstood, and then it's just like someone will joke, "Oh, you should drink bleach to get rid of COVID." Ha ha. And then someone goes, "Oh, that makes sense." And then they start telling everybody, believing it, and then everyone's like, "Oh, they believe it. It must be true." And then it's to the point where, "Oh, that must be true."
It's not.
To the point where a Cheeto decides to go, "Oh, you should definitely drink disinfectant or bleach to, cure COVID."
Yeah, sure. Instead of killing yourself with COVID, kill yourself with poison.
Yep. Listen, if you drink bleach, it'll quench your thirst for the rest of your life.
At this point, when people listen to to all of that, my brain just goes natural selection.
Yes.
That's it.
If they're gonna be dumb enough to get themselves killed, it was meant to be. Honestly. That being said, don't fucking drink bleach.
For the love of God, don't.
Don't drink bleach. Don't jump off a roof or a cliff or drive really fast in the snow, because that's the thing happening right now. Is fucking snowing hard outside.
Yeah, we actually have gotten a lot of snow, and it's actually stuck.
Yeah.
For once. So.
For once. I think this is the second snow of the year.
Third,
or of
actually.
The season, I guess. Is it the third?
Third.
Okay, third it is. I can count.
It's the third snow of the season, but the other 2 times, it melted the next day.
Yeah, like in the next day or two.
Yeah.
This one is still coming down.
So.
Excuse me.
We'll see if winter has finally decided to grace Ohio.
Did you have more, or because I had one more thing before?
No, let's go.
What is this? Apparently, there's going to be an Ice Age sequel, again, which, okay, you remember the Kung Fu Panda movies, right?
I remember the first one.
You remember how? Do you have a general idea of how they looked? Like there was some decent render quality. You could see the fuzz and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then when the show came around, they had to drop quality because it's a show. You can't. You have to render stuff out every week, so you can't spend time rendering all those furs and shit. So, take the general look of Ice Age.
Okay.
With the standard animated movie look, where it's got all the fuzz and all the fur and every detail and whatnot, yada yada.
Yep. Said the slop was fuzzy.
Convert that through the TV show filter in the same way you would Kung Fu Panda. That's what this new sequel looks like. It is a full-length movie. It is a full-length movie.
No.
They look plastic. It looks terrible. The only saving grace that I found, which isn't really a saving grace, is just like, oh hey, that's cool. Simon Pegg is still playing Buck Wild.
Okay.
I think his name's Buck Wild. Buck.
The saber-tooth tiger, right?
Nope. The short, small, weasel-looking dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from the dinosaur movie.
Okay.
Which we were watching.
Wait, even the squirrel isn't the same person anymore?
The squirrel isn't voiced.
I know. I'm kidding.
Or no, that's not the only one. I'm just saying that the Buck is definitely Simon Pegg because I can recognize his voice.
Okay.
We were watching like YouTube poop or something, and we found one of Ice Age where where Buck goes up, is like crawling around the guy's head. He's like, Buck, short for Buckminster, long for brah.
Oh my god.
And then it echoes into the trunk because he's talking that way. I don't know. It was really funny, especially when you're, high as balls.
Yeah, I can imagine. Let's get to this timeline that apparently you're making.
So, as I'm sure some of you may know, on TikTok, this has nothing to do with us.
Okay.
Someone on TikTok was like, hey, what if I put together a timeline? There's 2 things I'm talking about. One is just interesting, putting together every superhero movie in chronological order in a mega cut. All the DC movies, all like the Blade movies, not just the MCU. So it's like all the Batmans, the Supermans, Justice League, Suicide Squad, Blade, Daredevil, everything, including the MCU in a chronological timeline. So there's not really a cohesive thing with all the over the DC to Marvel. Someone similar to me a while ago thought, hey, what if we made a supercut of all of the MCU stuff? Like TV shows, the shorts, the movies, obviously. I'm trying to crack my elbow. It's not working. Ow. And I thought, that's a good idea. However they do that, they're probably not going to find a cheap, easy, or legal way to put it out online for everyone to see. So I figure, since that's probably not going to happen, I might as well do it myself because I would definitely want to see a supercut like that. Not spend 2 straight days, no sleep, no bathroom breaks, watching that, but just to have. So, if I can find the damn folder.
I'm guessing the start of the timeline is...
Yes, where do you think the timeline starts? What is the earliest we have seen?
I want to go with the logical choice, but I don't think it is.
What is it?
Captain America.
you're on the right track. Technically speaking, in movies, the main time that movies take place, Captain America is the first. But we have seen physically on screen even earlier. Before Captain America even, there's the prologue to Thor the Dark World, where they're talking about the Dark Elves and the Ether, where back when, I'm not even sure Odin was born, his father Bor was fighting Malekith and whatnot, and then they went and retreated with the Ether and hid the Ether and whatnot and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But before even that, 5000 BC, the Eternals come to Earth and start defending humans from the Deviants. So, if we wanted to chronologically sort it, we'd want that.
Okay.
First. But, in editing all of this, I'm like, I don't want to start with the earliest we've seen. I want to start with the earliest that's described, which is, there's nothing, and then the Big Bang, and then there's Infinity Stones. So I say, okay, how do we order that? Because you hear the Collector from the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
You hear Wong talking about this at some point. You hear Odin talking about this at some point in the second Thor movie. So I say, I want to edit just the voiceovers of them talking and have them like change back and forth as if the three of them are the ones telling this story or something like that.
Okay.
So you have like just a black screen and then maybe flashes when they're like, the Infinity Stones are space, and then it'll flash like the Red Skull holding the Tesseract from Captain America or something like that. And I wanted the last one to be time. That way you can hear, that way I can edit a piece where Loki goes, the man out of time, and then it hard cuts to Captain America. Because he's describing the man out of time, but it's also the Time Stone. But also Captain America's the first movie, so it would flow right into that. But what makes it even trickier and so tempting to do this, Eternals starts out, then the 5000 BC thing happens, then they save the Deviants, and then they're just like, yes, we are the Eternals. Hello, humans. Then one of them picks up a knife and like turns it into a golden knife and with the magic or whatever and hands it to the kid. The song that's playing as that is happening, and then the Marvel intro goes, and then they cut to the modern day, is Time by Pink Floyd. So it fits so fucking perfect. It's almost as if they wanted someone to do that. Because Time by Pink Floyd, then the Time Stone is the last one in the official thing is in Infinity War. They're talking about the Infinity Stones. Doctor Strange, the last stone he says is time. Then he opens his thing. And also, the first movie is Captain America. And in the first Avengers, which is, MCU's the whole Avengers thing, Loki is talking about Captain America, the man out of time. And then it's like, time. What if this whole multiverse thing, which is arguably a good reason to get into sorting out all of the timeline. One of the stones he says in the exclusive first look trailer is time, and it goes time, or something like that.
Okay, I'm not. This sounds great, and I'm glad you're having fun with this.
You don't give a shit.
No, it's not that I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna state what my brain thought of. You sound like Matt Pat trying to put together the timeline of FNAF.
See, but there's definite points into there's a definite order to them. You are given definite years, there's in Black Panther, he goes to Oakland in 1992. Captain Marvel happens in 1995. The Black Widow thing at the beginning of Black Widow, that happens in 1995. The Captain America 3 intro where Bucky has to go and kill Howard Stark.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just...
I'm trying to figure out the best way to edit it.
Yeah.
Into one big
I'm not saying
thing.
you're wrong or any of it, and I'm actually finding this very entertaining in reality. I'm just stating you kind of sound like Matt Pat.
Correct.
Before he went full on insane.
Yes.
Because Matt Pat would do the same thing. We have 1983, 1987.
It's the bite of 1646.
Like, you cannot see that.
Fuck. It's a good thumbnail.
But, yeah, so, like...
We're 20 minutes into the podcast and I'm running out of parts for this. That's like the biggest problem that I'm going to face. Second biggest is figuring out where the fuck the Loki series is supposed to go. Because it doesn't really take place in a time. Because it literally takes place out of a timeline.
That's kind of the point.
Right, so where the fuck do I stick it at the very end? Well, what happens when stuff happens after Eternals?
Well, okay.
What do I do with all that?
Are there any points in any of the other series, movies, whatever, that show the splitting of the timeline?
No.
Then it's at the end, because that is the last thing that happens in Loki, is the splitting of the timeline.
Here's another argument. Loki isn't finished. There's a definite season 2 coming.
Yeah,
because
Loki's not complete.
Because the last episode is... it's been long enough. The last episode, Kang the Conqueror gets... Sorry, the He Who Remains, who...
Kang the Conqueror!
Kang the Conqueror, who's not called Kang the Conqueror... Because Kang the Conqueror is a title of one of that guy.
Anyways.
So, He Who Remains gets killed. And then, who we're presuming to be a Kang the Conqueror comes in and takes over the TVA. Mm-hmm. And doesn't do the whole Timekeepers thing. He's just like, alright, every universe, we're good. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Which, I love Loki so much. I want to know so much about this fucking series. It's...
You want to know what I want? Because I love Loki too. Can he have a fight scene where he's actually badass, please?
Have you watched Loki?
I have watched Loki. There's a
decent number of fight scenes where he's a badass.
I've gotten so used to just seeing this.
Thor Ragnarok is also the end scene.
This poor man just be beaten.
All right. But yeah, Loki's going to be an interesting one to edit. Another fun thing. Iron Man, hang on, these are highlighted and they're white so I can't really see them. Hulk, The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, not Mark Ruffalo. Mm-hmm. Iron Man 2, and the first Thor movie. Technically speaking, all happen within the same week. Or within the same time period. Like, they're all happening concurrently. Like, because in Iron Man 2, mm-hmm. Coulson is set to watch him mm-hmm. to make sure he doesn't leave his house. So he can figure out the thing and yada yada go whatever. And in the middle of him doing that, Coulson comes in and he's like, I've been reassigned to New Mexico. Mm-hmm. And then he goes out to New Mexico. And that's when... when Gamma happens? That is when he was called to go deal with the Thor thing that was happening.
No, New Mexico's Hulk, yeah.
No.
Or not Hulk, Thor.
New Mexico is Thor. So those are definitely happening at the same time. But because immediately after both of those... he is talking to Jasper Sitwell, who is the guy that got grabbed and thrown out of the car in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. Coulson sits down and talks to him and says, Agent Ross wants Abomination on the Avengers. And they're both like, that's bullshit, I know. How do we make sure that he doesn't put Abomination on the Avengers? Abomination's the other guy from mm-hmm. Hulk, for those who don't know. How do we make sure we do that? And then they're like, we need to send someone that's so annoying that to try and convince him to put Abomination on the Avengers that he doesn't want Abomination on the Avengers. And then they're like, oh, I have a great idea. The Consultant. Because at the end of Iron Man 2, Nick Fury's like, we're going to keep you as a consultant. Then they send in Tony. So Hulk, which at least the end credit scene of Hulk has to happen after Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And since it also happens after Hulk... Mm-hmm. Might as well have Hulk and Thor and Iron Man all happening concurrently. Mm-hmm. I think concurrently is the right word. I could be wrong there. But then immediately after that is the consultant thing, so that's great. Other than that, there's not much to do. I mean, Guardians 2 comes immediately after Guardians 1. That's a given because we've known that. Obviously, Avengers 3 immediately followed by Avengers 4. Mm-hmm. But which, by the way, my timeline, which through practice has given the best result. You watch all the movies in the order that they're supposed to be watched. Mm-hmm. Thor 3 and the end credit scene where the ship comes up and then it's like a suspense thing and then it cuts. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
And then you watch through the end credit scene and then... oh, what the fuck happened? They've disappeared? There's dust. What the hell happened? And then you hear a bunch of screaming and stuff as Ant-Man's in the quantum realm going, guys, pull me out. Guys! Then you watch Infinity War to get the context of why, to obviously follow up Thor, but then you get the context of Ant-Man. Now, I would argue that you'd put Thor right before Infinity War. That way you can just easily glide through, because it's like, oh, the ship is here. What's the ship doing? Oh, and then it's straight into Infinity War, because it starts with the ship. But if you put Ant-Man before Thor, I feel like it's too long of a gap for the whole for Ant-Man. So yeah. So I'm wondering if I could put a thing together where Ant-Man and Thor happen concurrently.
Maybe. I'll be honest here. I've seen the Thor movies. I have not seen the Ant-Man movies.
They're okay. Thor 3, fucking phenomenal. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, fucking phenomenal. Guardians 1, pretty damn good. Ant-Man's are, they're okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to think of more things. Oh yeah, there's also like, how do you fit a whole series? Because that's going to be like a 4-hour movie if you fit the series into one thing. Or no, that's not. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is like 40-something minute episodes. So that's, and there's 6 episodes each. So that's like,
almost 6 hours.
4 episodes would make 3 hours. So that's 4.5 hours, roughly, more here or there. So that's an interesting one. Another thing, Spider-Man 2 leads straight into Spider-Man 3, obviously. The Hawkeye series would follow that. Which, by the way, I was concerned for a minute because Eternals ends with the Eternal coming out, or not the Eternal, the Celestial coming out, and then like the whole world's like, what the fuck was that? I feel like that would be a big discussion in either Far From Home or Hawkeye if that had already happened. But then I thought, wait a minute, what if it takes place after them? And there's no reason that it can't. So it's all Shang-Chi, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision. Spider-Man takes place in 2024. Then Spider-Man, the one after that, takes place immediately after that. Then Hawkeye, because I looked into it, Hawkeye is actually supposed to take place in December of 2024 anyway.
Okay.
And since Spider-Man 3 ends with him swinging around in like a Christmas scene, I was like, oh, same Christmas. And because I saw the tree and I was like, what if Hawkeye's down there? Wait a minute. Another thing, because the Daredevil series is now canon, how would someone fit that in there? You don't care, do you? You're zoning out, I can tell. I'll move on. I'll move on. Figure out something else to talk about. We have another half hour to cover.
I don't know what else to talk about.
Fuck.
Yeah, fuck is definitely it. Well, it wasn't also me zoning out. It was also just my brain going with some of the things you were saying, like the whole Eternals versus with what's going on with like Hawkeye and Spider-Man. Again, we stated this because we saw this with Loki. Isn't the Spider-Man movie set in a different timeline?
No.
Because the Infinity Phones...
Infinity Phones.
Jesus.
I'm Thanos, I'm here to call you.
Infinity Stones, and when Captain America went to put them back, everything got fucked. Because you see that in the second movie.
What second movie?
Spider-Man 2. You see the effects of things being fucked up within the timeline.
No.
I thought.
No. Did you not see Spider-Man 2?
I'm not remembering it right now.
Okay, so what the thing was, it's like Mysterio, he's like, I'm from another dimension, but it turns out he was lying just so he could get Edith and be an Avenger.
Oh, yeah.
Or be an asshole to sneakily lie to become an Avenger. So that the whole other dimension thing was a lie.
Okay.
But it's funny because then he goes to Doctor Strange like the next week.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, the multiverse. And he's like, wait, the multiverse is real? Can I trust you? And then he's like, bro,
Yeah.
We saved the universe together. And he's like, fair. All right.
Well, okay. No. Well, then think about it this way with the third movie. The third movie, I do know for a fact things have been fucked with because all 3 Spider-Man are in it.
Yes. Because at that point there is a multiverse. Or there always was a multiverse.
And since
it's complicated. This is where Loki does come in, but also can't, because how do you fit this? How do you fit, oh, the timeline is broken, it's also not finished, and then just go back into things that are like, oh, it's normal. It's like, what the fuck? How do you wrap that up?
Yeah, hence why I wasn't actually zoning out as much as my brain was trying to figure out how do we fix this.
Where everything actually broke.
Mm-hmm.
This is 100% probably not what they intended. Which, before I get to that, there was a short from 2014, right after Iron Man 3, called All Hail the King.
Yeah.
It's very short. It's the guy that plays the Mandarin, Trevor Slattery, the actor.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that plays that is in prison, then he gets interviewed by some guy, and then the guy turns out to be with the 10 rings.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the short he says, someone is very excited to meet you, someone whose name you stole. I only watched that like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Having already watched Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings with the actual Mandarin and the actual 10 Rings, I thought to myself, oh, that's setting up the Mandarin for like Shang-Chi. And then I was like, wait a minute. This short came out like 7 or 8 years ago. How did they have that much foresight? They didn't. They probably just went, what if we did this? Fuck it. If it doesn't pan out, then no one's going to remember because it's a short. But they cracked an egg, emptied it, and then put the shells in the basket. And then every one of the fans, or not even the fans, at some point they came back and the egg just turned into a whole chicken. And they was like, okay, I guess we can milk this.
Yeah. Because that's, in all honesty, what Marvel, like the cinematic Marvel, is doing, is milking their franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Completely.
But at least they're coming out with more and more shit. And they're not just like, they're not on Iron Man 12.
No.
It's
one of the things that I saw when I watched Nostalgia Critic, which, funny enough, for YouTube. But when he had done his review of Suicide Squad, he had made a joke about how what DC is versus Marvel, like cinematic universe wise, unlike a certain company that we fight. I'm not doing this correct. I'm not gonna have it correctly word for word, of course.
Disney.
But unlike a company that we shall not talk about, that spaces out movies, like individual movies for their characters, so that when they come together, you're all excited about it. We're just gonna throw them all together. Yep.
It was great because they were like, Suicide Squad, and then there was like a Ben Affleck cameo for that, and then it was like, oh hey, cool. And then it was like Batman vs Superman, because Captain America vs Iron Man is coming out soon. So it was like, all right, that. Also Wonder Woman, and then we're gonna tease Cyborg and Flash and Aquaman, and then they were like, Justice League, and then, oh no, the first one was Man of Steel way back in 2013. So they're like, Justice League, and then they have everybody, and then they're like, Aquaman, and then everyone's like, okay, and they're like,
Aquaman actually wasn't that bad. Amber Heard's a bitch, but like,
regardless, still haven't seen it. And then they're like, the Wonder Woman 2, and everyone's like, yeah! And then it's like, Henry Cavill, you have to see CG remove his mustache for Justice League, and everyone's like, and then it's like, Snyder Cut, and everyone goes, yeah! Then it's like, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck quit, and also we're giving you a new Batman movie that doesn't feature Ben Affleck, and everyone's like, huh? What even? How the fuck?
Yeah.
You can't.
It's the thing of, unlike Marvel, where we had a consistent cast. Because
we didn't even start with a consistent cast, because
we did it.
There were two big replacements. First Iron Man movie, Rhodey was played by, don't tell me it started, Terrence Howard, and then every subsequent film was Don Cheadle.
Oh.
Every single one after that. Up until fucking Shang-Chi at some point where they're talking whatever. Not even Shang-Chi, it was Captain... whatever.
But anyways.
Then Edward Norton as the Hulk. And now it's Mark Ruffalo. And it's been Mark Ruffalo since Avengers.
And it's not going to be Mark Ruffalo after this. Because considering, did his contract get terminated with the whole Endgame thing?
No.
Yeah, I remember that. He got fired because...
He didn't get fired.
I could have sworn he got fired because of the NDA stating that he spoiled Endgame.
If
something.
anything, they would have fired Tom Holland way before that.
Yeah, that's what... I don't remember. It was something weird. But... Yeah, no, so
he definitely didn't get fired, though, because there's a cameo of him in Shang-Chi.
Okay, then whatever. But no,
if his NDA's up, he's just not gonna... There's just not gonna be Hulk anymore.
Yeah.
It's not... They're recasting. It's...
But still, it's one of those things where it's like,
we've
had a consistent thing. Iron Man's always been Iron Man.
Right.
Captain America's always been Captain America.
Thor's
been Thor.
Once we got to Avengers, that was the consistent cast. There was no changes from that point forward.
How many different Batmans have there been?
They started with Justice League, and then it's like, Ben Affleck doesn't want to be Batman anymore. Okay, so we can't do a solo Batman film. Hey, new Batman film. It's Robert Pattinson. Huh? How many? You know what? I'm
actually excited to see the Robert Pattinson version of Batman.
How many Batmans have there been?
I may need to rephrase that.
Holy revolving door, Batman. The Caped Crusader has been portrayed by more actors than any other superhero in movie history. 8 to be exact. Obviously, Ben Affleck's one. There's Adam West. Hang on. Christian Bale. My favorite.
Jack
honestly.
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. No, he was
that's
the Joker. Hang on. Yeah, Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson, Christian Bale, Adam West, Val Kilmer. I remember that. Simply from the face. Louis G. Wilson. That's 6. Not a lot more. Robert Lowry. These are really old. Adam West, Val Kilmer. Michael Keaton. That was one.
Yeah.
That was another one of my favorite... one of my most interesting discoveries, that Michael Keaton played Batman. And then...
I will state this. As much as we've had different Batmans... If it wasn't for his untimely death, I swear to you, we would still have Heath Ledger as Joker.
Probably.
If the man were still alive, he'd probably still be Joker.
More than fucking likely, because fucking what's his name, 30 Seconds to Mars guy,
Jared Leto
sucked.
He's
just not great. He was like, "We're gonna do a modern Joker. Listen here," and then it was like, and everyone went, no.
The fact that unless you get the specific unedited version of Suicide Squad, most of his scenes have been cut out.
Right. He also doesn't sound the same throughout the movie.
Nope. That's one thing I will give the actress that plays Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie.
Yes.
She has the accent.
She can keep the accent, unlike whoever plays Scarlet Witch. Sorry, don't at me, Elizabeth Olsen. But, like, in the movie, Joker's like, hey, this looks neat. And then when he gets her from the helicopter, he's like, okay, honey. He's doing whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, dude, this is so far off. Also,
last I checked, the clown Prince of Crime doesn't have gold grills.
Yeah. Once again.
I could...
This is the divergent timeline we're talking about.
I could forgive the tattoos because I could see Joker at one point getting the smiling thing on his hand.
I don't see, like, a modern one. Let's put it this way. That was a very good modern Joker. People don't give a shit about a modern Joker.
No. He's, again, like, in all honesty, I think the best version of Joker we've seen live action is Heath Ledger. That will always be my standpoint.
Yes.
But the all-time best version of Joker we've seen has been from the animated series.
Mark Hamill's.
Mark Hamill's Joker is...
Never gonna be top. Simply, that laugh.
That laugh alone.
Oh my god. I wish I could just spontaneously have that laugh just to play in the real world. Everyone
we just need to have a button. Like
button just to...
We need to make a nut...
Mark Hamill Joker button.
Like your nut button, we need to have a Joker button.
We have a button that summons Mark Hamill, and then he just pops up in our room, and he's just like, fine. And then he does the laugh, and then I'm like, all right, thank you. We press it, and he goes back to whatever he was doing.
Yeah, it's just... He is one of the best Jokers, in all honesty. But, again, I'm not even a big DC person.
Right.
And even I know this.
Back to the subject at hand.
Yeah, sorry, back to Marvel. We went to the
wrong... That was a long tangent. We went in the wrong universe. How do I put this? A long time, they... they were making the Daredevil series. They were making the other, whatever, the...
Can we... Wait, no, real quick. I'm going back to DC because it also deals with Marvel. Can we talk about the fact that Ben Affleck has been in, I guess, quote-unquote, 2 failed-ish...
superhero movies?
Yeah, superhero movies. Because he was Daredevil.
Yes.
And then
I have
Batman.
that right over there.
Oh, God,
right
why?
there. That's not the canon one, because that doesn't fit into the series.
No, that's not the canon one. That's the shitty one from the early 2000s.
Yes. 2003 to be exact. Lost my train of thought.
Can we just not have Ben Affleck in any hero movies?
Yeah, I'd rather not. I'm okay with Ben Affleck, but like I'm not want to.
Let's put it this way. I did actually like the Daredevil comics, so I was disappointed in the 2003 movie. I do not like Batman, and I was bored to death in Batman vs Superman.
Yes. Martha, why'd you say that name? I'm gonna throw this at you before I get back into the timeline thing.
Okay.
There is a high chance that Tom Cruise will play an alternate universe Iron Man. So, up until Avengers 4, yes, you heard me correctly. I'm not going to discuss it because that's all I know about it.
I'm not watching it.
Up until... I probably won't. I'm going to watch Marvel. I don't think it's going to be Iron Man 4 played by Tom Cruise. I think it's going to be whatever the show is, alternate universe thing happens. Hey, it's Iron Man. You don't look like Tony. And then it's like, I'm Tony Stark, and it's Tom Cruise. So, up until Avengers 4, I think everything has been one sole timeline.
Okay.
It's been normal, it's been fine, it's been whatever. Then Avengers 4 happens, and when they go back in time, the plan is they go back, and then they take the thing, and then they go forward, and then they go back they're attempting to essentially borrow like the scepter, then take it to the future, use the snap, and then go put it back later to as if it never left, but in a point where no one notices. That way, technically, it did happen in their time. So the timeline goes, oh, the Tesseract's gone. Oh, just kidding, it's back where it was. So like theoretically, the Avengers, in the first Avengers movie, if we had looked around the corner, we would have seen the other Iron Man borrow the Tesseract and then come back and then put it right back. But plan fails. Hulk bursts through the door, they drop the Tesseract, Loki steals it, opens the timeline. My theory is, when the second Loki picks up the Tesseract, like as Hulk is bursting through the door, things start glitching just a little bit, like you see the screen like for a second, then the thing lands on Loki, and then it does it again. Then as he picks up the Tesseract, screen covers and glitches. The whole multiverse opens up the second he picks up the Tesseract.
Well, that is basically what happened.
Right. But my idea was the TVA didn't exist until that happened. So the TVA coming to get him has already existed because, as we see in the show, the second you kill the guy and the multiverse opens up, the second that happens, the TVA's already changed. Yep. So the TVA can because if the TVA can change in the future, it's already been changed in the past. Yeah. Kind of thing, because it exists out of time. So the second he takes it, TVA already exists, has already existed, and will always exist. Yeah. But opening that multiverse thing, once they go back to the future, the other timeline where Thanos, Gamora, and Nebula, and then all of his troops go to the future and then die, that timeline is just void of Thanos. Yep. That's just an empty, barren timeline. Yep. And then Gamora just basically hopped timelines, essentially, so she's still there. That Nebula's dead, that Thanos is dead. Gamora is the only remnant of that timeline in this world. Say that timeline gets cleansed, whatever. I lost my train of thought. If I can tangent again real quick. In Loki, the Loki that's played by the older guy, that's wearing the original costume, says, I cast an illusion so good that even the Mad Titan believed it. Yeah. I then floated around space, for a really long time as inanimate debris, and eventually I landed on a planet, and I stayed away from everything. And nothing caused the nexus point to flow in the timeline because no one would have noticed. If he's isolated from everything else, he can't interact with anything, can't change anything. The second he stepped off planet, TVA steps in. Oh, hey, you can't do that. We saw that you were there, but we didn't want to. We couldn't bug you because we couldn't tell. Whatever. So my headcanon is that is the same Loki that we left in the third Avengers. Like, yes, the timeline dictates that he's supposed to die, but we end up seeing. So that's our Loki. So I'm just like, oh, that's sweet. And then obviously ends glorious purpose, whatever, yada. Once we get back from Avengers, the multiverse is a thing. TVA exists, but it still goes the way the timeline's supposed to. And like around, hang on, let me check. Fuck me. Let me check. Let me check my timeline. See if I can make any sense out of this. Because it's Avengers 4, and then after is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let's say, as Loki takes the Tesseract, or hell, as everyone gets back from the past, Loki starts the series, and then they play it simultaneously. And then as stuff's happening, like say Falcon and the Winter Soldier happens, when then Shang-Chi happens. Let's say Shang-Chi comes around right after that. It's another dimension. Could be another universe, portal to another universe, whatever. It makes sense because that would have been at the end of Loki by the time that happened. So, whoop-de-doo, multiverse, great. WandaVision's all happening at the same time, where she can create Infinity Stones and do whatever. WandaVision. Spider-Man 2 rolls around where the guy lies about the multiverse, but because it's in the same time, it's already happened. All Loki's already happened, and the multiverse already exists.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is like, oh no, the multiverse is real, and then pulls another stuff. That's where Andrew Garfield come in. What we're seeing back in 2003, 2004, 2007 with this original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, we're technically seeing 2002 from a multiverse after Endgame happened. From it was Avengers and then Endgame creates the multiverse, and then our perspective can go back in time to watch something after the multiverse has been created in the future. So
I mean, okay, that makes sense, but it's also it's weird.
It makes sense, but it doesn't. I understand that.
I will state this though. I have not seen No Way Home yet, or the third one.
I highly recommend it.
I want to. Trust me, I want to see it. I have seen clips though of all three Spider-Mans together, and how both Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland.
Yes.
Because his friend hands him, oh yeah, here's your web shooters, and he's just like, okay, cool.
It's been long enough. We could spoil it.
And then you have freaking Tobey Maguire just going, wait.
What's that for?
What's that for?
Well, that's web fluid for your web shooters, and then he just goes,
and
then it's like, what the fuck? That stuff coming out of you?
Yeah.
Like Falcon and Civil War. It's just like, is this stuff coming out of you? Everyone went, haha, and then the joke finally pays off. What was the other one? Toby's like stretching out on a rail. He's like, and Andrew's like, you all right? And he's like, yeah, just all the years of swinging fucked up my back. And he's like, oh yeah, I have like a middle back thing too. You want me to crack it for you? And he's like, yeah. Then he goes and cracks his back, and it's like, ooh, that's so much better. It's so good. It's the little
Tom that's just
Tom's like, I'm 15.
Don't got back problems yet.
Yep, don't got back problems. He'll get it though.
He will.
He'll get there. He'll get there.
There's also a thing in like I'm just going Spider-Man now. Sorry, all of you.
Yeah.
Because my best friend is a big Spider-Man nerd.
I love Spider-Man.
We've had an ongoing debate on which is stronger when it comes to the webs. The ones that Spider-Man himself can make, like Toby, or the synthetic ones like Andrew and Tom make. Because theoretically, as Toby gets older, the strings would get more, like, as his body gets bigger, the strings would get more breakable.
Right.
So wouldn't the...
To be fair, though, he's already older than the other two in, I think, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, he does the train thing.
Yeah.
Where he's able to pull them that hard. They stick.
Yeah.
They don't break. In Tom Holland's moment, where he's got the Staten Island ferry, he's pulling it together and they're breaking.
Yeah.
And those, so that I would argue, older and natural are holding together better than younger and synthetic. I would argue natural is more strong.
But you can also see in the case of Andrew Garfield that synthetic do work as well, considering he has the scenes in where you have the second movie, which is shit, with Gwen Stacy.
I would also argue.
But you also have the car one where he one of the things breaks, and he uses the synthetic things as like a bridge to stop a car from smashing into people.
All right, and also argue he's a bit older, so he would know more because he'd been doing it for longer.
Yeah.
But then you got to argue, no one breaks necks like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. Andrew Garfield's such a weird Spider-Man because he's not.
There's a joke I want to tell you about, and I can't tell you because it spoils it.
He's not the innocence of Tom Holland, but he's also not the morals of Tobey Maguire.
Right. He's a weird middle ground. He's a bit awkward in the movie, by the way, because he's like, "There's more of me," and then he's like, "Wait, before we go, I love you guys," and then they're like, "Thanks." He's just like, "Damn it." It's so sweet. It's also.
Andrew Garfield, though, is such a sweet person.
There was a TikTok I saw where the director yells cut, and then Tom Holland takes off his mask. He's like, "Oh man, that was great." And then Andrew Garfield takes off his mask, and he was like, "I know, bruv, like, right, you did so well." And then don't tell me, Benedict Cumberbatch is like, "Yes, we all did fantastic. They're all British." Then it's like, "Toby, why are you quiet?" He's like, "Since when were you a British? What the fuck?" Because Toby's the only actual American. And then everyone else, you've got fucking Willem Dafoe's not British, damn it.
No, but Willem Dafoe's amazing.
Right. Willem Dafoe, fucking Alfred Molina, and
But yeah, no, I can see Toby just doing that. Like, what the fuck?
Have you seen the second Venom movie?
No,
I haven't either. I really should. I know about the end credit scene, for those who are wondering. You probably don't.
Nope. I'm good at not being spoiled about things, actually.
I'll let it be for you.
Okay.
I really should see Let There Be Carnage, though. I want to see where they take Venom, because obviously it's a rated R movie. I want to know what they do with... I want to see if they could fit it into the MCU somehow.
Well, the entire, like, from what I remember of the comics, and again, this is secondhand knowledge from skits, Venom in the comics is actually first introduced as the black Spider-Man suit. Because...
Yes.
He didn't realize that his suit has technically been overrun by whatever the fuck Venom is.
Symbiote.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, okay, this will tie back into Eternals somehow, trust me. Venom is a symbiote.
Yep.
Symbiotes are an alien species that I'm pretty sure started on an asteroid, which, if I'm not mistaken, are technically one and the same with deviants, because they were sent by Eternals to call... Or no, they were made by someone to kill the Celestials. I think. I could be wrong. But the first symbiote was or is kind of like a sword called All Black or something like that. There's the person who wields All Black also created every symbiote. That guy's called Null, Knull, and he actually killed Celestials. Like the the severed head of the Celestial we see in Guardians of the Galaxy, Nowhere, that is theoretically Null did that. And we also might have seen his sword at the end of Eternals, but probably not. That's probably just the Ebony Blade to set up Blade, because another voice off screen was, we've already talked about this, a guy from Blade confirmed to be the same actor. Ow, I bit my tongue.
Good job.
But once again, Matt Pat sounding, he's like, oh, the Blade's doing a little whooshy thing like they did with the symbiote in Venom. Oh, what if that's the Venom thing that leads back to the Eternals and then goes all of this?
I'm gonna get a video like Stephanie has of Matt in the closet having a mental breakdown of him having a mental breakdown.
Matt is somehow going to tie the MCU into the Five Nights at Freddy's timeline. That I've said that, that has been spoken out loud, I guarantee within a month that will happen. I
want you and Matt Pat to meet at some point.
I want to discuss timelines.
So I can so me and Stephanie can just see how insane the two of you get.
Yes. We go and we like, as we're talking, we like inch closer and closer towards the closet to hide in it to start recording stuff, and then both of you are like, no, not the closet.
We both just see the closet and immediately go and lock the door, like, nope, not let in.
Steph is telling Matt, you've gotten out of there already, you don't need to go back in, and you're telling me you already came out, don't go back in.
Basically.
Same thing, different words.
But
or same words, different meaning.
I think that's it for this episode. We've definitely gone on a tangent.
We've run out of things to talk about. That's it for this episode. I'm just gonna do a little thing where you say goodbye, I plug our stuff, and clap my hands to end the episode.